Narayanam namaskrutyam naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayamudhiraye nashtaprayesha badreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati uttama shloke bhakti bhavati naistiki. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 7, Text 9. Maitreya Vacha Seyam Bhagavataha Māyā Seyam Bhagavato Māyā Yat Nayena Virudhyate Yannayena Virudhyate Ishvarasya Vimuktasya Karpanyam Uta Bandhanam Maitreya Vacha Seyam Bhagavato Māyā Yannayena Virudhyate Ishvarasya Vimuktasya Karpanyam Uta Bandhanam. Maitreya said, Sa iyam, such a statement, Bhagavataha, of the Personality of Godhead, Māyā, illusion, Yat, that which, Nayena, by logic, Virudhyate, becomes contradictory, Ishvarasya, of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vimuktasya, of the ever-liberated, Karpanyam, insufficiency, Uta, as also, what to speak of, Bandhanam, bondage. Translation purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Translation: Śrī Maitreya said, certain conditioned souls put forward the theory that the Supreme Brahman or the Personality of Godhead is overcome by illusion or māyā, and at the same time they maintain that he is unconditioned. This is against all logic. Please repeat. Śrī Maitreya said, certain conditioned souls put forward the theory that the Supreme Brahman or the Personality of Godhead is overcome by illusion or māyā, and at the same time they maintain that he is unconditioned. This is against all logic. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Sometimes it appears that the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is 100% spiritual, cannot be the cause of the illusory potency which covers the knowledge of the individual soul. But factually there is no doubt that the illusory external energy is also part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. When Vyasadeva realized the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he saw the Lord along with his external potency, which covers the pure knowledge of the individual living entities. Why the external potency, energy, acts in this way may be considered as follows, as analyzed by great commentators like Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur and Srila Jiva Goswami. Although the material illusory energy is distinct from the spiritual energy, it is one of the many energies of the Lord, and thus the material modes of nature, the mode of goodness, etc., are surely qualities of the Lord. The energy and the energetic personality of Godhead are not different, and although such energy is one with the Lord, he is never overpowered by it. Although the living entities are also parts and parcels of the Lord, they are overcome by the material energy. The inconceivable Yogameshwaram of the Lord, as mentioned in Bhagavad Gita 9.5, is misunderstood by the froggish philosophers. In order to support a theory that Narayana, the Lord himself, becomes a Daridra Narayana, a poor man, they propose that the material energy overcomes the Supreme Lord. Srila Jiva Goswami and Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, however, offer a very nice example in explanation. They say that although the sun is all light, the clouds, darkness, and snowfall are all part and parcel of the sun. Without the sun, there is no possibility of skies being overcast with clouds and darkness, nor can there be snowfall on the earth. Although life is sustained by the sun, life is also disturbed by darkness and snowfall produced by the sun. But it is also a fact that the sun itself is never overcome by darkness, clouds, or snowfall. The sun is far, far away from such disturbances. Only those who have a very poor fund of knowledge say that the sun is covered by a cloud or by darkness. Similarly, the Supreme Brahman or Parabrahman, the personality of Godhead, is always unaffected by the influence of the material energy, although it is one of his energy. Parasya Shakti Vividhaiva Shruyate. There is no reason to assert that the Supreme Brahman is overpowered by the illusory energy. The clouds, darkness, and snowfall can cover only a very insignificant portion of the sun's rays. Similarly, the modes of material nature may react upon the ray-like living entities. It is the misfortune of the living entity, certainly not without reason, that the influence of the material energy acts on his pure consciousness and eternal bliss. This covering up of pure consciousness and eternal bliss is due to avidya, karma samnya, the energy which acts as the infinitesimal living entities who misuse their minute independence. According to Vishnu Puran, Bhagavad Gita, and all other Vedic literatures, the living entities are generated from the Tatastha energy of the Lord, and thus they are always the energy of the Lord and are not the energetic. The living entities are like the sun's rays. Although, as explained above, there is no qualitative difference between the sun and its rays, the sun's rays are sometimes overpowered by another energy of the sun, namely by clouds or by snowfall. Similarly, although the living entities are qualitatively one with the superior energy of the Lord, they have the tendency to be overpowered by the inferior material energy. In the Vedic hymns it is said that the living entities are like the sparks of a fire. The sparks of a fire are also fire, But the burning potency of the sparks is different from that of the original fire. When the sparks fly out of touch with the original fire, they come under the influence of a non-fiery atmosphere. Thus they maintain the potency to be again one with the fire as sparks, but not as the original fire. The sparks can everlastingly remain within the original fire as its parts and parcels, but the moment the sparks become separated from the original fire, their misfortunes and miseries begin. The clear conclusion is that the Supreme Lord, who is the original fire, is never overpowered, but the infinitesimal sparks of the fire can become overpowered by the illusory effect of māyā. It is most ludicrous argument to say that the Supreme Lord is overpowered by his own material energy. The Lord is the master of the material energy, but the living entities are in the conditioned state controlled by the material energy. That is the version of Bhagavad Gita. The froggish philosophers who put forward the argument that the Supreme Lord is overpowered by the material mode of goodness are themselves illusioned by the same material energy. Although they think of themselves as liberated souls, they support their arguments by a false and laborious jugglery of words, which is a gift of the same illusory energy of the Lord. But the poor froggish philosophers, due to a false sense of knowledge, cannot understand the situation. In the 6th canto, 9th chapter, 34th verse of Srimad Bhagavatam, it is stated, Duravabhodaiva tavayam viharayogo yad asharano asharira idham anavekshitat tasmat samavaya atmainaiva vikriya manena sagunam agunaha sujasi pasi harasi. Thus the demigods prayed to the Supreme Lord that although his activities are very difficult to understand, they can still be understood to some extent by those who sincerely engage in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. The demigods admitted that although the Lord is apart from the material influence of our creation, he nevertheless creates, maintains and annihilates the complete cosmic manifestation by the agency of the demigods. The Sanstha Bhaktivedanta Parpoto Madhyanatimiran Dasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshuranvitam Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Preshtaya Bhutale Śrī Maitreya Bhaktivedanta Swamin Nitinamine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashartha Deshatarine Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shiva Sadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So we are reading from the chapter Further Inquiries by Vidura to Maitreya. Vidura inquires that the Supreme Lord is present in every living entity's heart as Paramatma. So how can the living entity undergo tribulations or miseries? When the Lord is personally present, how can a living entity be overpowered by misfortune like this? So when he asked such a question, Maitreya was a little astonished in the last verse. But then he settles himself, and then we see here he starts giving explanation. Maitreya vacha teyam bhagavato māyā yannayena viruddhyate. So he straight away started referring to a class of philosophers who says that the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he comes under the control of māyā. Bhagavato māyā ennayena. And he says it's against logic. So they say on one side that he comes under the influence of māyā, and the other side they'll say he is unconditioned. Ishvarasya vimuktasya. He is mukta, and they say on one side. On the other side they say that is actually he comes under māyā. So, Maitreya Rishi is saying this is ennayena, it is against all logic. Basically, he is referring to Mayavadis. They say currently the living entity is under the influence of Maya. That's only currently. Everybody is Narayana, he becomes Daridra Narayana because under the influence of Maya he thinks like that. But once he is out of this Maya, then he is Narayana himself. He actually becomes Narayana. This is their theory. Their theory is that Krishna's body is made out of the material goodness. That's why he is doing all powerful things. And but you are also as good as Krishna only, just that you are in Maya, you have illusion. And if you can come out of that illusion, then you again become Narayan. And so that's how they promote this theory that which is contradictory, completely against logic. So the Mayavadis go completely wrong in understanding that Krishna is there, but he has energies which work for him. All the energies, although he has innumerable energies, all these energies are under his complete control. No energy can control the energetic. He is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is the only Purusha. And all energies are Prakriti. Govinda ki jai. So there is no possibility that the energies can overcome or overpower the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This they don't understand. They don't realize that the potencies are there and the Supreme Lord is there. They are different. Supreme Lord is actually predominator under all circumstances, and the energies are predominated under all circumstances. So this understanding is. So missing this understanding, the living entity becomes overpowered by material energy. And it starts behaving as a male, starts behaving as a Purusha. It wants to act as a male or a Purusha. This is the influence of material energy. Only under illusion, a living entity thinks that he is the predominator. He is the enjoyer. He is the male, he is the Purusha. These are all concepts which doesn't apply to the living entity at all. Only because it is wearing a material body which appears to be like a male body, it thinks that yes, now I am a male, I am a Purusha, I am an enjoyer. But as soon as it gives up the current male body, next body there is no guarantee. Even if, let us say, it becomes a female, so then it starts thinking that I am to be enjoyed. Actually, females in this world, they also don't think that I am to be enjoyed. They are also thinking we are enjoyers. So everybody is going around with this impression that I am the enjoyer, and so there is a race for enjoyment. There is a big competition because they realize that the number of enjoyable things are limited. So there is a big competition. We see that competition in every aspect of our lives. So this is all this illusory energy, external energy. And so this external energy, how is it that it covers the living entity? What is this external energy? Can it cover the Supreme Lord? This is the question. When Krishna comes here, into this world, will he also have to compete like this? Will he also, he enjoys, that's fine, but he is also like one of the living entities, and then he has to compete like this. So here in the purport, Prabhupada is saying the Supreme Lord is 100% spiritual. Whether he is here, whether he is in the spiritual world, he remains 100% spiritual. So if he is 100% spiritual, how can he create material potency? And then if he creates, he must come under its control. Like that, there are so many arguments like this. To minimize Krishna's position. To bring also Krishna into on par with the Jiva. They create so many theories like this. To truly believe and accept that Krishna is the only Supreme Personality, he is the only Purusha, he is the only enjoyer, very difficult. Very, very difficult. To really accept and understand and to surrender to Krishna like that, it is not easy. Because every one of us are surcharged by this mood that I am the enjoyer. I should have the right to control. I should have the right to enjoy. I should be correct. My idea, my decision. Like that, it reflects into so many areas of our life where we want to prove our predominance, where we want to prove our supremacy. This is the thing. So here, how can all spiritual Lord can create a potency like this, external potency which is harassing all of us? Prabhupada is quoting Vyasadeva's realization of the Supreme Lord. When Vyasadeva had darshan of Krishna, behind Krishna he also sees that the material potency is lurking. She is actually behind, she can never come in the front. Maid servants are standing only behind. They cannot come in front of the owner. So he saw Krishna is there, and behind he also saw external potency. So we cannot deny that external potency came from Krishna. Here Prabhupada is saying it is also part and parcel of Krishna. This is an important point. All energies are part and parcels of the Lord. Since it is a part and parcel of Krishna, it also, it is explained here, the material mode of nature are surely qualities of the Lord. So this external potency, since it is a part and parcel of the Lord, it also shares qualities of the Lord. We also share, qualitatively we have some oneness, and external potency, it also shares. For example, Krishna says, Samoham sarva bhuteshu, I am equal to everyone. So material energy also works like that. It is a neutral potency. It doesn't support anybody. It doesn't favor anybody like that. It is samoham. For example, material energy is little lenient towards Indians, and it is very heavy on Pakistanis. There is no such thing. It is neutral. And if somebody, and it is neutral, and all its laws are neutral, its modes are neutral, goodness, passion, ignorance, they don't give any preference to somebody. If somebody associates with one of these modes, in a similar way, it takes control. If somebody associates with Sattva-guna, he comes under the control of Sattva-guna. If somebody associates with passion, he comes under passion. If somebody associates with ignorance, he comes under the potency of ignorance. It's all same. Karanam gunasangasya. anybody who is going through a certain mode in his life, that is because of gunasangasya, he is associated. So anybody associates, whether he is Indian or he is a Pakistani, a Westerner, he will be controlled by that particular mode. So here it is mentioned that, yes, external energy also exhibits certain qualities of the Lord. Some qualities are inbuilt into this energy. So then the question is, since external energy came from the Lord, is the Lord overpowered by external energy? So stalwart acharyas like Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur and Jiva Goswami, they give explanation. They give a very simple example to understand how Krishna and his energies operate. They give the example of the sun. So Prabhupada says, the sun actually sustains life. All the everything in this world is sustained by the sun. But the life is also disturbed by darkness and the snowfall, and also, what is the one more? Clouds. Clouds, darkness and snowfall. Now these three, they are coming from the sun only. Ultimately, because of the sun only, there are clouds. For example, now summer is there. Then there is a rainy season. The seasons are there. In the rainy season, we see clouds, with the water and all that, created by the sun. Even now, the water is getting evaporated, getting stored with the sun, and it creates clouds whenever it is required. So clouds come from sun. And then, depending on the karmic destiny, the clouds will move to a certain area, and then they distribute the water. This evaporation storage is going on continuously. Although apparently clouds are not visible as of today, it's going on. Obviously evaporation is not stopped now because there are no clouds. Sun is doing its business, and only when under certain circumstances it creates the clouds. So clouds are coming from sun. Darkness is also from the sun only. So in the same temple hall, you see there are some patches where it is brightly lit, and then there are some patches where it is dark. Both effects are coming from the sun only, right? There are clouds, there is darkness, and then snowfall. There is one more version. Instead of clouds, there is a snowfall. Actually, in the North India, towards Himalaya, you will see the snowfalls are there. Everything has its own place in this world. Darkness has a place, snowfall has a place, clouds have a place. So they're all required. But they're also coming from sun. All these three energies are coming from the sun. Now the point is, can these three affect the sun? Obviously no. Sometimes when the clouds are overcast the sky, particularly in rainy season, it appears that the sun is fully covered. You don't get to see the sun. Of course, in India, we are blessed with sun more or less throughout the year. In Hyderabad, though, 90% we will be able to see 90 to 95% sun is available. But in many countries, it is not easy to see the sun, not easy to get that sunlight. So that way we are blessed in one more way, that we can have darshan of the sun. And although these three energies, they cannot cover. Even if there is a cloud, it's only for a few miles. And what is sun? It is so many miles width. It's such a big planet it is. So compared to Earth, it is very big in size. Miles and miles, of clouds cannot cover the sun. So similarly, darkness. How can a darkness cover the sun? Sun is a bright object. Darkness can never come. So these are the examples that are given. One more example that is given is a big fire and the sparks. So the sparks, when they come out of the fire, Where they fall, that determines its future. If the spark falls into the water, it completely gets extinguished. That means if the living entity falls into tamoguna, almost it becomes devoid of spiritual consciousness. If the spark is falling into a normal ground, still you will see a little bit of some heat is there, something is there, but slowly it will slowly becomes extinguished. So passion is like that, in between. It is a via media. And then, but let us say the sparks falls onto a place where there is a dry grass. Immediately there is a burning, and then again it becomes a spark. So similarly, when the living entity falls onto the sattvaguna area, it appears, it born into a sattvic environment, then again it can rejuvenate its spiritual consciousness. See, these examples are so nice. So if you want to understand the philosophy, spend time on these examples. Contemplate on these examples. Each and every example. This example is given by whom? Stalwart acharyas like Jiva Goswami and Vishwanath Chakravarti. So if we analyze these examples, then the interaction with Krishna and his energies, how Krishna always remains completely 100% spiritual. He is never overcome by any of these energies. All these things will become very, very clear. And it is important that we understand this. Otherwise, as soon as we think Krishna is also like one of us, immediately Maya captures. We come under the influence of his energy. So that's why everybody should spend time, particularly brahmacharis. They have to spend time. Swadhyaya is glorified, contemplate. Then we understand, yes, Krishna is the true male, is the true enjoyer. I am not an enjoyer. This becomes settled in our consciousness, and then we behave like a subordinate person. Any questions? Yeah.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. In the example of this spark falling on water or ground and dry grass, so if one may say that when the spark falls on dry grass, it becomes fire. So similarly, living entity, when it comes to the right mode, it becomes God. What if one may say that this?
That's what Mayavadis say, that Krishna is exhibiting such huge potencies because he's actually made up of sattva. His body is made up of sattva, that's what they say. So now in this example, when the spark falls onto a place of dry grass, there is a fire. It appears that there is a fire, but actually Krishna is not that grass fire, little bit. It may be bigger fire compared to other fires in this material world, but Krishna is sun. Where is the fire in the sun and where is the fire in the grass? So there is no comparison. So it appears to be fire, but actually it's only a small spark of the original fire. Mayavadis don't understand. A little bit of powers, little bit of magic convinces them that, oh, he is also God. Mayavadis are like, if somebody produces ash, oh, he is God. They'll immediately start glorifying him as God. He has come back to godly power. What is that? Ash, that's all. So, in this world, we see some sparks like that. Somebody has a spark of creativity, somebody has a spark of strength, somebody has a spark of beauty. You see these sparks exhibiting certain opulences like the 6 opulences. But in little sparks you will see here, there, attracting our attention. But if you think that, oh, this is all, this is everything, then you are mistaken. What spark you are observing, it's only, Krishna also says in Bhagavad Gita, he says, whatever vibhutimat sattvam, the vibhuti, the little sparks that you see, it is ekamshena. It is a little fragment of myself. You may see a very big attractive thing in this world, but that's only. Like last verse we were discussing, Akrura, he sees something wonderful in the river. So Krishna Balaram, they ask, Akrura, what did you see? Anything wonderful thing you have seen? He says, my Lord, I have seen you. What else will be there to see? There is no more wonder in this world. So we have to come to that level. We should get convinced that all wonderful things are there in Krishna. He is a wonderful father, he is a wonderful mother, he is a wonderful brother, wonderful son, wonderful lover, wonderful male, wonderful Purusha, wonderful woman. Everything is wonderful. If you want to see the perfectional stage of any role, any personality, any opulence, that can be found in Krishna. Everything to its perfectional stage, that is Krishna. And that is what we are waiting for. That is what we are wanting to experience in our life. We want to see perfect beauty, but we see one little spark here and immediately we'll start running behind. But actually that's only a small little spark. If you really see the fire, actually that is a different experience. How can you say that is a different experience? There are examples. Bhagavatam, you see how Dhruva Maharaj, as soon as he saw God, his ambition for universal dominance, he wanted universal dominance. That is his ambition. That means in terms of power, he thought that is the highest, universal dominance. But as soon as he saw Krishna, but he saw Vishnu, he understood. He says, Swamin Krutadosmi Varam Nayach. He got attracted to Krishna. He never saw such beauty. He never saw such influence. See, a person's influence, is not that when he sits on the throne only you can see. Somebody sits physically on the CM's chair or PM's chair, then only we'll realize his influence. Otherwise we will not. But Vishnu is not like that. Krishna is not like that. The moment you see, that's all. You can see his influence. So Dhruva Maharaj understood. Extraordinary. He says, no. I don't want to become any universal controller. He understood this is not in the right direction. My Lord, you are the Lord. I am your subordinate. That's all. In every circumstance, we accept our subordinates and we behave like that. Subordinate, under the influence of the predominator, that is the safest situation for us. Otherwise, Maya always entices you that you have a hope. You can be the it always encourages you. You can be the enjoyer. You failed once, doesn't matter. There are so many courses are there. You take one of the courses which will tell you. You can also be the gyms and this and that. And you can also be. And then again the Jiva gets a hope. But yes, a lot of hope-creating machinery is there. Maya is like that. Somebody is coming back to the reality that I am only tiny. I have to be subordinate to Krishna. Immediately one course will come. Infinitism. Something will come. You can become infinite. Again it gets the hope. Like that, Maya has a big machinery to keep the Jiva in the opinion, Jiva in the concept that you can be predominator one day. He has got a lot of machinery. And Maya begins with that concept. That's why it is called bodily concept of life. Concepts are important. Something comes into your mind as a concept, finish. If that concept is not in line with Bhagavad Gita, if the concept is not in line with Bhagavatam, that very concept will bind us to this material world. That very concept will bind it. Through that very concept, Maya controls. So don't give opportunity to Maya. It controls through these concepts. Some misunderstanding, some illusory understanding, that is Maya. Through that concept, it controls you completely. That's why If we don't want to fall under illusory concepts, then you have to understand what is reality. And reality is in Bhagavatam. Vastavam vastu shavadam. Tapatraya unmolanam. As soon as you understand this reality, then all tapatrayas will be uprooted. You will be free from these miseries of this world. These are the secrets. So you should be very hungry for reality. What is the reality? Then we will be blessed. Any other?
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Yeah.
The question Vidura asked to Maitreya is, why living entity is suffering even though he is, Paramatma is accompanying him? How this answer is answering, how this is answering to that question, Prabhu?
Yeah, Maitreya is building up the argument. Vidura is saying, when Krishna is present also, Jiva is struggling with material energy. Jiva is still is under misery. So, is Krishna also comes under the potency of material energy? Looks like he is unable to control. If Krishna can control this external energy, then how come the living entity be in misery? He is actually hinting, is Krishna capable, or he also comes under the control of material energy? So he wants to know. That question has a lot of various angles to it. One of the angles he has taken now, Maitreya ji, and then you will see in the next few verses he comes to answering Vidura's question. Why Jiva is suffering? Despite Lord being present, looks like Lord is also, like for example, I am there and you are also there. You are suffering with some health issue. I am also suffering. I cannot help you because I am also suffering with the same health issue. Is it like that? Krishna is there and Jivas are there. They are suffering and he is also. No. So Maitreya is now starting his arguments saying that Krishna can never come under illusory energy. Śrīla Prabhupada ki jai. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.
హరే కృష్ణ గోల్డెన్ టెంపుల్ వారి మరో అపురూప కానుక హరే కృష్ణ వాణి ఆధ్యాత్మిక మాసపత్రిక. ఇప్పుడు మొబైల్ యాప్ ద్వారా కూడా సులభంగా పత్రికలు చదువుకునే సౌకర్యం, వార్షిక సభ్యత్వం, భగవద్గీత, భాగవత ప్రవచనాలు, స్ఫూర్తి సందేశాలు, ఇంకా మరెన్నో సదుపాయాలతో హరే కృష్ణ వాణి మొబైల్ యాప్ నేడే డౌన్లోడ్ చేసుకోండి. మరిన్ని వివరాల కోసం కాల్ చేయండి 9133107700.